Welcome back to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Begin. The end is never the end is never the end.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Interesting.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day...
Oh, I didn't mean it. Okay, whatever. But, reason why I'm streaming on here again is because since I streamed the previous part on...
all of his coworkers were gone. What could it mean?
On this platform,
Stanley
I was
decided
continue.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
But everything else would be on Twitch. Everything is basically probably the same besides the balloons. Okay. The bucket! The bucket! The bucket! The bucket balloon. Can I? Oh, I thought I'd be able to pop it. Bucket?
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Interesting. So this is the new content, huh?
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
What if I go right?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Awesome. I'm loving this game so far.
Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Okay.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
I never checked.
And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Huh. Never checked what this was. Oh. Never checked what this was.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually.
Oh.
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Okay. Oh. Huh. Wait. Wasn't there a truck here?
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
Yes! Dum, da, 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 da.
Now
Oh.
this is what the Stanley
No!
Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those
Okay.
great jokes from the original dialogue? Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
The fuck?
It's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's
Whoa.
give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
No. Not the bucket. The wacky line. Oh.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce
just
a brand
got
new
it.
character.
What do you
This
mean?
is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Holy shit.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Okay. Now what? Oh. Oh. I hate Mondays.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Oh.
What could it mean?
What could it
Stanley
mean?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh. Bucket.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and Stanley pressed the bucket upon every little thing in the office. Nothing responded to the bucket's touch, but it did little to discourage Stanley's belief in the magic of the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Where was this? Oh, wait. Oh. What's this? Ooh.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Oh. Wait, can I still? Nah. What's down here? What is down here? What? Hello? Hello? Oh. Oh. The hell? Where am I? What?
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour
dude.
with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
What the fuck? Did this just become a horror game? What the fuck? Okay. Oh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, wait, was this always here? Figurine Finders Committee. Meeting today in the meeting room. Oh.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
All right.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
No.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No.
No.
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go
Is it-
somewhere
oh,
else.
it's no longer there.
The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the car. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
To be one. Is this different with the bucket? I'm curious.
No, stop.
Oh,
Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a
oh
bucket?
no.
I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Oh. Okay. Ah.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket.
Okay.
Simple enough, right?
Bet.
This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay,
Bet.
let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Incorrect.
Ah!
It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Eh? What? What?
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Ooh.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Fine. No.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Are you looking?
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Just for the meme, sure.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Correct. This is a bucket.
Wait, I was just memeing. Wait, what? Wait. Wait.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Yes.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
What?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
No.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Oh.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
Huh?
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets.
I can still click.
Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
This is gonna reset the game. Yep.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What could it
Stanley
mean?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
No button press? Lame.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. And
Fine, I'll go
entered
this
the
way
door
this
on his
time.
left.
Oh. Trust the completionist instinct. There will be a reward for finding them all. Oh! Stairs, something to do with stairs. I need to take a screenshot of this. Is this some kind of game? There must be a point to this. Nearby a fireplace. A private but smelly place for an important person. I already know where that is. I'm only guessing, but smelly. I already know that's probably the bathroom. Construct new structurally sound bridge. Hey? Stairs, something to do with stairs. Okay, so when I go buy some stairs, look around there, I guess. Oh.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
Nani?
You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk, that it has to resort to this stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket?
No.
Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined. And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient? That your life is so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments. Expand on the wide variety of experiences you and the bucket have shared together. Go through each of them point by point. Share your journal entries detailing the rich emotional landscape of your feelings for the bucket as they have changed and evolved over the years. Let him have it.
Take my bucket.
Okay, I've got you something which I think will help settle this debate once and for all. Here we go.
Oh.
There. Now it's settled. No more debate, no more discussion. Take a hike, Broom Closet, with all your meandering philosophical diatribes about the nature of cleaning supplies and their relationship to broom closets in the natural order of things. All right, I've got a second sticker back here, and I'm going to slap it on as well because I think it's appropriate. You see? I feel that it works because the sticker is also a bucket. That way, if you're ever unsure whether the thing you're holding is a bucket or not...
Wait, how is it below the property of Stanley sticker?
It's a
What?
bucket. There really is
Wait,
a wide variety of applications for this sticker.
Hang on. Can we get one more?
You know what? I could take the name-calling and the dismissal of your kinship with the bucket, but now the broom closet is just giving us the silent treatment. And to be honest, I'm sick of the pettiness on display. You can stay here all you like, but I've had it with this impetulant room of cleaning supplies. Easily the most childish such room I've ever been in. I'll see you outside, and we can get on with the story about you and your bucket.
Aw. Okay, well. What was that? Okay. Alright then.
Coming to a staircase,
Oh, there's just
Stanley and the
stairs.
bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay. See, there's something to do with Oh! Ah!
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Pretty sure I mentioned that last stream. The Stanlerines or something like that. I was only joking about that. I didn't actually mean it to be an actual thing. Okay, this is the bathroom, right? Yeah. You know, there's one right here.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Quick question. No! Okay, well. Wait, is there... Ah! Ha ha ha! Could we come in here? Is this gonna change anything? Let's find out. Okay. Alright. I guess not. Alright. Well. Thanks so much for that.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he
Wait,
have
the
any
fireplace.
notion
Wait a
that the
minute.
pin number for the keypad was 2845.
Hang on. Let me see this. Let me see the screenshot. It's nearby a fireplace. Yeah. Wait, what? 2845, huh?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs, trying to input anything on the device, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
What?
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Ah, right here.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anlerines. Very soon, you'll
Figler
collect the most,
Anlerines.
and
I'm
then the
sorry?
first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anlerines. None of us can.
Figler Anlerine. Huh? Oh. Okay. Alright, let's go down. I'm just not even going to try to pronounce that anymore.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
If I want to go back up.
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up? When I was pressing those keypad buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again. The bucket said nothing.
3. Interesting. 3, 3, 3, 3. Interesting. Uh-huh. That is,
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained silent. This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in the elevator.
all right. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
I had too much fun pressing one button.
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he? Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind
Escape.
Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
What?
But of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for.
Nah.
Nope. It's death for Stanley and the bucket.
Alright, here I go.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward into a very painful death for each of them.
Yes. Whee! Whee! Oh. Uh-huh. Okay. So, like, what? Oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket. But what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere. Farewell, Stanley.
No!
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end as it was crushed violently to death.
Whoa! Huh?
It was a shame,
Parable.
the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious
Where'd my bucket go?
to behold.
I was literally just holding it. Welcome you to the grand exhibit. What?
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own? Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Oh. The fuck? Okay. Okay.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
Oh, my eyes. Wait, I can drop down? The hanging bucket. Oh, I thought... Wait. What did I just do?
But there is something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong.
What?
Let
No!
Stanley die. Let him be crushed
No!
by the
Wait!
machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another
No!
opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket.
No!
We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley
This
die
narrator
together.
sucks!
The bucket should take his place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
What? Oh. It was all just a nightmare.
Stanley
Oh my god.
had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
It was just a nightmare. Oh my god.
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Some were both red and blue. Oh, I know where this is at. I need to... Hang on, can I begin the game again? I need to not pick up the bucket. And then go to the red and blue area.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Do not pick up the bucket. Do not pick up the bucket. Okay. It's gonna take me a while to get to there, but...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
It is this way, right? I might be going the wrong way.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
I am going
boss's
the wrong way.
office.
Nice. Alright. Great.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
The fuck? Not just like interacting with the computers. Okay, I need to go right.
When Stanley came
I already
to a
forgot
set of
where
2
the red
open
and blue
doors, this
door
was
of the
not
room
the
is
correct
at.
way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh, I think I know where it's
Standing now
at.
in this incredible room, Stanley but eager to get back to business, Stanley took
Alright,
the
and I need to
first
drop
open door
down
on
over
his
here.
left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others?
Yes.
Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? What?
Yes.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to
Don't
show
care.
you something beautiful. Look,
Ah!
and there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly.
Stiggly Wiggly!
This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
What? You bit.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
I walked backwards. Wait. Let me out!
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now.
Wait.
Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh,
Ooh.
it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay
What's
right
this?
here, right... No, wait. Where are you going?
What's this? What?
Right. Where were we?
Whoa. Oh, this totally isn't tripping me out. Let me out. Oh. Oh. Is this like referencing something?
Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing. No! Oh, thank God. You lived. No. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me?
Jesus, man.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy.
Oh,
Am I
no,
reading
no.
the situation correctly?
No, no, no. No. No, 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 no.
Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about.
Oh my God!
I know you'll see.
Oh!
You'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
My eyes! God, I'm moving so slow.
No, perhaps not.
Wait, what's this? What is this? Whatever.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
I feel so bad. But yes. 360!
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Wait.
Stanley, I'm sorry,
What?
but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figlets.
Oh?
I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't
Oh?
it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life?
Yes.
Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness?
Yes.
Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. That's crazy. The memory zone. Oh. Okay.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
What? I got 7 out of 6.
And here was a second Stanley. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the warehouse. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
It was my stairs. The stairs.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, under the stairs. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory,
then I went to the
but I shouldn't
bathroom.
be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything. Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
No? No. Yeah, I definitely remember this.
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was behind the boss's office. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion.
What?
Enjoy.
What? What?
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Oh my god. The last one.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Oh.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment.
Oh,
Nothing
this is
left to do but
what?
move on into the future. Goodbye, memory zone. No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
We're not gonna talk about this.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Oh no.
Yes, I love that video.
This isn't right, though.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Looks nice, but this is wrong.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Huh. Okay. Wait, what if we go to the bathroom? Wait. Ah, okay. Well. That would have been interesting. What was that?
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh, right. The jump circle.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now. Look how much fun the past is. I want more. More memories. Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Huh?
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Why does that feel so heartwarming? What? Ah! Whoa! Oh God! Wait, why can't I do this? Why can't I do this? What? What am I supposed to do? Do I just press every button imaginable? What's going on? Yippee! Buttons! Uh. It just keeps no. What do I do? Do I just reset? I'm confused. The sequel is now paused. Do I just have to press restart? This is also tripping me out. Especially if I do this. Yes. But seriously, what do I do? Do I just I don't know. I give up. I can do it again. Well, I guess it was just an ending, so. Alright, so that's interesting.
All of his co-workers were gone, What could it mean?
What could
Stanley
it be?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Yes, sir.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Hopefully. Wait.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Aww. Oh, nothing when I stay in there? Okay. Oh well.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Bet. Alright, we're just gonna do the normal ending now. Yeah.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Bet.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
I'm sorry?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Oh my god.
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
427. That's me. There it is. That's obviously weird about this place there.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Okay.
When at last they came to the source of the room...
Boom. Turn it off.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
Whoa.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
Huh?
What? Wait. What was happening?
No.
Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Yeah, let me out!
An unbearable silence filled the room,
Let me out!
lingering in uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
No!
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms, not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room, but at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Whoa. Huh?
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
Yes. Is it? Is it? Someone playing solitaire at the... Oh my god. No.
When Stanley came to a set of two...
Oh wait, no, I meant to open the...
He entered the...
bucket. My brain just went past the bucket. But...
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room and... Where are we going today? The bucket asked. Stanley just smiled. Anywhere they went together would be... Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Alright.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a
Whoa.
normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious,
Whoa!
he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None
Oh
of
my
them were
God.
his special bucket.
Come to me, Stanley! Find me!
He had to find the
Daddy.
bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Huh?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and
Oh,
walked
Lord.
to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right
What?
away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Huh? Okay.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter. A good bucket, a strong bucket, a humble bucket, a committed bucket, a bucket of culture and astute. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I'm actually going to end it here. If y'all like it, please like and subscribe. If y'all want to see more coming from me, don't forget to press the notification buttons to not miss out on my content. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.